Hi guys, it's Drew here and I'm here for another Top Deck Tuesday week. So today I'm here to share with you the deck that is currently on the top of my pile, which is always the first question in this series. What deck is currently at the top of your pile? I had a little bit of an interesting week, sort of mixing things up a little bit with my decks, getting rid of them, going through them, and I really wanted to choose a deck that I knew I wanted to work with. As some of you may know, on a couple of groups that I'm in, I had received the Mystic Dreamers tarot back off a friend of mine, and I thought I might do that this week, but I'm really not feeling it. So I had a look on my bookshelf and I decided that the deck that I really want to work with this week is, in fact, the Thoth tarot deck. I made a video earlier on this year talking about the decks that I wanted to use this year, and a Thoth was at the top, really. I wanted to study it, learn it, start my journey with it, and so I'm going to be beginning this week. And I have looked at it, I have played with it, I have not really used it at all, just sort of looked at it. My friend actually had it for a couple of days herself, or a couple of weeks, really, a week and a half. Sorry. And she enjoyed it, and I'm really excited. So I'm not gonna ramble too much. I'm in a bit of a rambling mood today. I just wanted to share a really funny story. Maybe funny for you guys, maybe not. But I was talking to my partner about this deck, and we were just joking around, and I was sort of thinking about the Magus, or Magus, I think it's called. Anyway, I was joking around and saying things, and I asked him whether he was a Magnus, because I thought that's what it was called. I thought the magician was called the Magnus. Yes. And that just conjures up all kinds of image of Matilda, and I just had this image of like this dead guy, and maybe he's a, necromancer or whatnot, but it was just hilarious and I could not stop laughing. And so now whenever I look at this deck, I'm gonna think the Magus or Magus is Magnus. So he's gonna be forever known as Magnus now. I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. So, I mean, I'm sure you guys have all seen a Thoth before. I'm going to be going through the process later on tonight. Well, it's actually morning. It's Monday morning, 12:30, of going through my deck and sort of arranging them properly. I'll just show you a couple of images because, like I said, I'm sure you've all seen them before. And I'll talk about this. So, what is the story of how it found its way into your life? I've actually seen a Thoth around for quite a while. I never really had an interest in it at all. It just did not appeal to me. I borrowed my friend's deck, her mini deck. I think it was probably about a year and a half ago, a year at max. And I looked at it. I was so tempted, but I was actually really scared. Like, I have, again, like I've mentioned before, I have a lot of sort of um, disconnect with spirit and occult as well, sort of shadow aspects of how I've been brought up and things like that. Nothing like super religious or dogmatic or anything like that. Just my own perceptions of what is dark and light. And of course, that has incredibly changed over the past couple of years. But it found its way into my life, and I sort of had these really mixed ideas about Aleister Crowley and whether I wanted to work with something that he'd created, considering the things I'd heard about him and the things I'd read about him and the documentaries I'd watched and all that good jazz and sort of associations I'd made. But I handed it back to her, and I think it was actually, funnily enough, around our relationship end. We were not only friends, we were partners as well. And I don't know, something in me said at around about that time, a lot of things were happening. My relationship with my current partner was ending. I say partner now, it's the easiest way I can give you guys an idea of like our relationship because we're polyamory. Um, that relationship was ending, and a lot of stuff came up, and the Thoth deck kept showing up. And I didn't really pay much attention. Like, I usually do pay a lot of attention to things when they come up and show up, but I was like, nah, I'm not interested. Just, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go there. I'm not ready to tap into this sort of other um, system because, I mean, I am by no means, I guess, any more equipped at the rider weight than I probably was, a couple of years ago. That's a lie, I am. But but I still don't feel like. I mean, this has been going around, like Kelly Beth said. When do you stop being a noob? I still feel like a newbie. I still feel like, and I think that's always going to be there. I do think that's always going to be there. But I definitely feel like the rider weight Smith. I do me, and sometimes I feel like I just don't know. I just don't know it all. I don't even know all the meanings or anything like that. That's okay. That's fine. Ramble. I really like that card. Adjustment, which is what this is going to be. But it found its way back into my life, and I asked my mum to buy it for me for Christmas, along with the Tower of the She, because it was another deck I knew was going to challenge the fuck out of me, and it has already. I've been using it, and it's just been mind blowing experience addressing a lot of stuff. And so I got it. It came. I looked at it. I put it on my shelf, and I knew that when I was ready, I would pick it up. And I lent it to my friend, like I said the other day. And when it left my house, you would not believe how many videos, posts, in all kinds of places, Pinterest, what name it, YouTube videos, recommendation videos was popping up about the Thoth Tarot. So it was like, and I'd seen really anything about it, and then when it left the house, like the day it left the house, it was everywhere. And I was like, okay, fair enough, Thothy. I get the point. I'm going to work with you as soon as I get you back. And when I got her back, okay, I was already working with another deck. And I probably needed to let the energy dissipate from my friend using it as well. And she said she wants to work with her deck, and eventually too now, because she liked the larger versions, and she'll probably get the bigger ones. So it does have a really distinct energy. It must have a feminine energy for me, and I know that it is so entrenched in symbolism, but it feels very dreamlike to me. And the importance of that dreamlike energy is integral for me because I work really heavily with my dreams, and it's symbolism. It's something that I've done since I was young. It's how I found out about Jung. It's how I dealt with my sleep paralysis and things like of that nature. And it's also just a place that I really like to experiment and explore, and especially bringing tarot into it. I've been bringing tarot into the journey of my dreamlands and interpreting that and making stories from my dreams and all that kind of good stuff. So this really feels like I would be journeying to another place, but definitely it would be a place inside me, of course. But I definitely feel like it has that dreamlike energy, and I think that dreamlike energy is the unconscious. Like that's probably where I'm connecting it with. It seems very deeply intertwined in my soul. I feel it's a visceral experience. It's an overall experience, like the colors, the pictures, the layers, the artwork. And I'm someone who really reads layers and loves layers. I want to peel things back. I want to look underneath them. I don't want to just sort of see the wands. I want to feel the wands. I want to feel their color. I want to feel their song. I want to feel um, their stories. And I definitely feel like this has many, 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 many stories in it. I feel like it's sort of, yes, it is ancient and it's a cult and it's connected with this just amazing group, but also an amazing person who created a deck as well, and including the artist. And so, with that, what have I been using it for lately? Well, not much, but I have been using it just to pull a few cards. And I guess you could say I've been using it, but my friend's also been using it together. Like she's been giving me readings, and I have a little app on my phone that has just basically the meanings of the Thoth, and I've been sort of looking at that and just having a bit of a read at the moment, really. And I watched a few videos too, and that I've enjoyed. I don't think I've watched Kellyanne's video yet. Kellyanne, I think she has some on a Thoth. I'm pretty sure. I know Kellyanne the Truth and Story does. Yes. I'm not very good with memorizing what videos I've watched. I know I've watched them and I know where they come from, but I can't always remember. I'm really weird like that. But that's what I have been using it for. Just a very, 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 very minimal draws and sort of investigating what the imagery is, a couple of imageries. But I know where I'd like to go with it, but as I've been speaking about how I want to address decks, this is a deck that I don't really want to address in a particular way. I just want to work with it. I just want to have a week where I'm having fun and getting down with it. And when I asked what crystal it wanted to use with it, because I do use crystals with my decks, it picked Dalmatian. And I haven't really spent much time with this crystal. It's mostly on my altar in my Morgan Le Fay sort of area. But I did pick up a few little tips and its properties, and it says that they are directors and compasses for people who want a fresh start or are starting a new project. And they are the talismans of the scientist, the adventurer, the hunter, wanderer, and explorer. And they are also the crystal for students and researchers. So this crystal really feels like it's very much connected with the Thoth deck and my experience so far as a very, 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 very new person to the concepts and the artwork and the experience with it. And this is my little baby. I really like the brown flecks in it, and it kind of reminds me every time I look at it like this sort of ice cream. So I have to resist eating it because I don't really have many teeth at the moment, and I don't really want to lose what teeth I have. So maybe I'll just lick it instead. I'm just joking. Weird mood. And so, where would I like to take my relationship next with this deck this week? Yes. Can I get a yes? I can't wait. I'm going to be using two resources though. Now I know I'm going to be very intuitive. I'm going to go into it every day intuitively. I'm just going to listen. That is my only intent. My intent is to listen to what this deck wants from me. What it wants to do to work with me, rather than me sort of going, I think I'm going to use this deck for this. It doesn't feel like that kind of deck for me. So I'm going to be using, or referring to probably, Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot by Lon Milo Duquette. And I have read a little bit of this. I think I got it a couple of months ago at the start of the year. And it's very, very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. But I'll probably just use the references for this. And I'm okay with that. Just sort of, it's really the only Thoth deck related book that I have. And I do plan on getting some more, and Kelly from The Truth and Story definitely recommended some great ones. And I also would like to use my Tarot and Astrology by Corinne Kenner, primarily because I want to associate the cards with the astrological elements and learn about astrology, because that's something I'm kind of doing with all my decks at the moment whenever I'm using them. Whenever I have one of those juicy days, that Sacred Seed Michelle speaks about, when she did her journaling video, how she talks about how she like lays it all out and has like a dedicated night and just soaks that all up. That's something I really love doing myself, so I love to do that. And I've been kind of having little couple of hours here and there where I've taken out tarot and astrology, and I've taken out a deck, and I've got my crystals and my highlighters and my pens and paper, and I'm just going right into it. Like, I'm just going, oh cool, okay, like this is not really the truth, but maybe like this is Cancer, and what does Cancer mean? Like, what does the horoscope mean? And how does that add to that flavor of that card and the symbolism, and where can I like pull everything out and put it back together again? And I really like that. I actually think that was my card for today, so that was interesting. Beautiful. So that's something that I really want to be doing because it's fun, and I feel like this week is fun week. It's fun week, guys. Fun week, and this crystal feels fun. It feels like I'm about to step into my role as like this, like a scientist, like an archaeologist that is going to be uncovering all these hidden gems and hidden relics of my mind and of the cards, and yeah, just exploring different people's meanings and findings. And I think that's a really good thing about the Thoth deck, is that there is so much out there to glean. I'm talking blog posts, YouTube. Like, I really want to soak that stuff up too, but I definitely want to be working with it at least in the mornings by myself for a couple of hours. Even half an hour, tapping into it, sort of really going into that dream state, in an alert, awake way, and path working with these cards, because I think path working with these cards would be amazing. Just amazing. I don't know about you guys, but if you have had experiences using the Thoth and path working, I'd love to hear from you. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Top Deck Tuesday, and I will be talking to you all later. At the end of the week, I'm going to be doing wrap ups or reviews of how my week went with that deck, talking about my experiences, strengths, weaknesses, challenges, anything I really found or grasped, and learned from my experience during the week, so I can share with you guys. And I'd really love to hear what your experience is with any of the decks, whether you're using decks that I am using, or you'd like to, or you've heard some experiences as well. And if you have any related videos that you've seen relating to this deck, please do share them. I'd love to see them. I'm sure it would help out other people as well. Okay, guys, I love you all, and I will see you at the end of the week. Okay, bye.